Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a daily tarot oracle reading, Tattle Tales from the Vector. This is a general or collective reading, so just be aware parts of it may or may not resonate with you. Take what works for you and just leave the rest. This is also a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it at this time, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That could give you further clarity as to your situation now. There we go. Okay, we're going to begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck, and we have the Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is representing the element of fire. It's about having passion and taking action. And so the Six of Wands is representing victory. So perhaps these people in the background, it looks like they might be these people here. And you have been victorious over whatever battle this was. This could just be like a competition in a sporting event, or it could possibly be for a promotion at work, that type of energy. So this person is victorious because she learned to rein her emotions in and discipline her mind so that she would be at her top performance. And then we have the first card coming in is the Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups would work for the King and Queen, and they would be traveling far and wide, delivering messages and information and then bringing that communication back. In those days, that was the only form of long-distance communication they had. The Knight of Cups is actually, each of them has, there's 4 knights, and each of them has their own element. And the Knight of Cups is like your knight in shining armor, that brings in the cup of love. And so this can represent a new love relationship coming in, or it can be possibly a further commitment in a relationship you have, like even a proposal of marriage. This energy, the cups represent romantic love, but they can also represent love of something or someone other than just romantic love, and they can also represent something you love to do or be. If you're not interested in the romantic part, they could be about that. And then we have the Seven of Wands. And so basically this is saying, I feel that you were in competition for some reason here, and maybe it was even over, someone chose you over all these other people or something like that. I don't know if that should be a competition, but it could have felt like it, I guess. But this is talking about you finding out some information when this information came in. And now now that you know what you know, you have conviction beyond a doubt that you will fight for what is yours, and you are fighting what's close to your heart here. And this represents the actions of other people, other things, events that are happening in the world, possibly that aren't, just maybe out of everyone's control. And this is about standing your ground to have what you know is meant for you. And this is the boot on one foot and the shoe on the other can represent being caught, or not so much caught, but being straddled between two worlds of maybe not quite there, but on the way to getting there kind of energy. That's what I'm picking up in this reading. And then we have the Chariot coming in. The Chariot represents that you're on your destined path. The Chariot's like a tank. Like once you're on it and you know you're on your destined path, you have conviction beyond a doubt. You know what you know. You're going in that direction, and it's in alignment with your higher self and the reasons why that are authentic to you in your heart. Then you're on this Chariot going on your destined path, and it's like no reins needed. You just are like boom on your way, and it's like a tank, tung 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 tung, just take you there wherever you're going. And then we have the World. And so the World is representing that there's been an end of a cycle here. And so maybe this energy, this is talking about on the spiritual realm, some new energy is coming in. So you're ending a cycle. In the tarot, in the major arcana, there's the Fool starts off at the 0 point, and then he gets to card 21, and whenever that happens, that means, okay, you've learned everything from this cycle that you can learn. It's time to start a new cycle. And so this is talking about having some sort of success or finality to a situation, and maybe the whole part of it was to know what you know. And so now you're moving forward in a different way. So maybe the hangman is representing someone that is hanging from the tree of knowledge, and he's hanging upside down because he wants to gain a perspective, new perspective of a situation and look at it from all angles. And then when he manages to, his aura gets really bright around his head, it's representing, aha, I got it. This is the path that I'm going to take. And then he climbs down from the tree and he goes and he puts it into action, which brings us to this Rebel with a Cause card. So the Rebel with a Cause is the Knight in Knight of Wands, and just like the Knight of Cups, he is delivering some sort of communication or some sort of information, a feeling coming in. And the Knight of Wands is considered the Rebel with a Cause because he's quite fiery. Like this is representing the element of fire. And he's got his wand and he's very passionate about the actions he takes. This big red plume on the back of his head represents the energy of someone who is fiery. And he might have a bit of a temper. And maybe in the past he's been impulsive and a little bit, hot-headed. But you can see that he's reining in his horse. And this is representing reining in his emotions. So the horse is fighting him a little bit, so he might sometimes have to fight it a little bit, but he has learned that he's way better off if he's in a calm state and he reins his emotions and disciplines his mind so that he takes strong steps of action instead of being like compulsive or impulsive. Also, the Knight of Wands really loves to explore the mysteries of the world and be on adventure, and he has in matters of love, this would represent a heartfelt energy with a lot of passion. This energy, this is Sagittarius energy, the centaur that takes the bow and arrow and shoots the arrows into the sky and to hit the target. And this energy is also very much, very, very close to the energy of the fiery horse energy, which we entered on February 17th when the Chinese New Year began. And we entered the year of the fiery horse on the 17th of February, and we will be in that energy until the 6th or 7th of February in 2027. And this energy, it's very much similar. When you're in the fiery horse energy, it's beneficial to know impulsive actions can really cost you. Like if you've ever seen a horse grab the bit in its mouth and it takes off, it's spooked and it runs. It can run for miles before you can calm it down. And all you can do is hang on because horses are strong. And once they get the bit in the mouth, you have no control over them. So this energy is talking about, impulsive energies can take you in a direction you don't want to go, and it can be a lot of work to get back on track. And also it's talking about being careful because this energy, people really want to set high achievement goals, which is really good, but quite often not giving themselves the proper time that it would be reasonable to accomplish what they want. And then what happens is they end up burning the candle at both ends and burning themselves out, and quite often don't cross the finish line. We have the King of Wands here. Lots of wand energy in this reading, a lot of passion basically. Really there's major arcana and then there's one cup of love and the rest is all about passion. So the King of Wands is considered to be the sexiest of all four kings. He's the kind of guy you wouldn't kick out of bed for eating crackers. He's really, really charming and you could forgive him for anything. He's really a good person, like has a really good optimistic outlook in life. And, he moves forward in life with passion, and he's a visionary. So he really enjoys new adventures, learning about new things. Very much this energy here. This represents like in the horoscope, Leo, Sagittarius and Aries energy, the fire signs. And so The fire, like his wand is made of wood because wood fuels fire. And it's talking about passion and being able to also, it's from the tree. So it's talking about the deep roots of ancestors, as well as the offshoots are representing the branches from descendants coming through. And he has on the back, he has a little salamander running here, and he has salamanders with a tail in a circle and the lion. This represents protection from fire. So a few months ago, I noticed that the back of his throne here, it almost looks like he's got a face on here. There's two eyes, and then the smoke coming, and the mustache and smoke coming out of the nose as well as the mouth. And so this could just mean like he's smoking hot, or it could also mean, or both. It could also mean that he is, where there's smoke, there's fire. So the one thing to know about the King of Wands is he is probably the last one to mature as far as settling down. Because of his love of adventure and being a visionary, that sometimes quite often does bleed into his romantic life. So he has a tendency to, value his freedom above all other. So he might be, someone that takes his time to settle down. But when he does, then he settles down. Now we have this energy of the Magician. And the Magician is talking about as above, so below. It's about being able to bring your thoughts and bring them into matter. And this is an infinite potential, so to infinite potential to the power of infinity and beyond. And this is talking about bringing in and having the potential to create a beautiful garden for yourself on planet Earth. You have all the tools you need, and you do need to learn how to use the tools and which tool to use in which situation. And you will have a lot of satisfaction from that and be successful. This is talking about an energetic upgrade in your life. And like this is the card number 1 in the major arcana after the 0 point. We have a transition coming in. So a lot of times when people see this card, they get really, scared, because it's the death card. But this is really talking about transition, about this ending of one cycle and then starting a new one. It's rebirth. And this is talking about if you've been in a challenging situation, like it looks like there's been some challenge here, but you've come out, like overall it's saying that you're going to come out victorious. But this is saying that the energy here from this flag is there's light at the end of the tunnel. And, some people are really fighting the change. This older person, when the Grim Reaper comes into town, is saying, hey, we don't want your change. Can I offer you this? Can I offer you that to stay away? We don't want your change. But these younger kids here one of them is actually handing him a flower and saying it's representing the bloom of new. And change, what do they say? Death, taxes, and change, I'm adding that on, are the two or three things that you can count on in life. And, change is happening every second of every minute of every day, whether we acknowledge it or not. And so there's no need to be afraid of it. Sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. But if you stay on your path, it's saying that there's light here as well. So this is the path of glory. And this is like your God-given talents and what you came here to do, that as long as you stay on that path, it works out in the end. We do have a king who's been trampled here. This is not representing an actual king. This is talking about systems falling apart, like cracks showing up in systems and things having to be revised and renewed, and how some things that you thought would never ever change are changing before our eyes. And we're seeing that a lot right now in the world. And so it's talking about, for instance, you might even have a hobby that you just love and you've always loved it. And then one day you wake up and you just are like, I don't feel like doing it anymore. And you're shocked, and everybody else is shocked because you've always done it. But it's just like, no, I think I'm done with it. And it's just that feeling that comes over you, and you know that a change is coming. We have a breath of fresh air coming in. So the Page of Swords is on this like cycle changing and getting ready for it, basically getting in balance. The pages are like a younger version of the knights. They would work for the king and queen very early in age. You have to remember back in the days when there was knights and long distance travel in this way, that the lifespan was probably half of what it is now. And so people would start to work very young, so around 7 to 14 years of age, depending on how mature they were. And they would run messages and errands within the palace walls. And so when they grew up, if they could afford a horse, they might even be considered for knighthood. So this is talking about the communication also. Both the knight and the Page of Swords, or page, any page, they would they would be males for sure, but these days this could be a female in her masculine energy, and all of the cards in tarot are like that. When they're not gender specific, they're more about masculine and feminine energy. And then we have the so this is this page. His element is the sword, and this is the only page that isn't super hyper focused on his element. And that's because like the swords represent your thoughts, and it's the element of air, so it's your thoughts, and it's also talking about your mental intelligence and discipline of your mind. And so he has already looked at the thought and he knows what the thought is, so he doesn't need to sit there and think about what's the thought anymore. So he's looking away because he wants to think outside the box. And this is a double-edged sword, so he's using his intuition as well as his logic to be able to bring the two together. And when you use your intuition and your logic, you tend to have more creative solutions. This can also represent like an aha moment, like a breath of fresh air. There's an original thought, like that kind of energy. Now we have the shift disturber here. The shift disturber is like a walking contradiction, basically. Sometimes it can just represent someone who's pretty goofy, but sometimes it can be more sinister than that. This energy, it's interesting because he's sitting right on the chariot, like this energy changing, and the world, like this, okay, now you've come to the end of whatever, and of that cycle. But this is representing, I say a walking contradiction because he's got these 7 swords and he has 2 planted and he's got 5 in his arms here, and we don't really know why. And then he's looking backwards over his shoulder and looking into the past, but he's moving forward into the future. And it looks like he's sneaking away with these swords. He's on his tiptoes, but it's ridiculous because it's broad daylight. Everybody can see him. And so it's kind of like, if he's a thief, he's not a thief in the night. He might be, though, because this is the swords, he might be pushing paper, like words that are written on paper, documents, etc. And so if he's a thief, this could represent white-collar crime, kind of like forgery, identity theft, money laundering, counterfeit, that type of energy. So he'd be in broad daylight sitting at his desk and you don't know, what he's doing, right? And so it's that kind of energy. Plus, what really bothers me the most about this card is the way he's carrying these swords, because they're very sharp, and who carries swords like this? Like, this is so careless, and especially because he's not looking where he's going. If he trips, he could lose his hands, basically. So it's kind of like, why would he take a risk like that? And when he's being that dangerous with his own energy, how, can you rely on him? Is he going to be also that careless with your energy? So it's not my it's the kind of card, like, this could be someone. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a thief, but it's just someone who thinks differently and maybe is a little bit goofy. And then we have the Ace of Cups coming in, and the Ace of Cups is talking about new love coming in, from the divine, and also the universe collaborating with the divine to bring a new love into you. So I don't know this could represent someone that was from your past, that maybe was a lover at one point, and there's a new cup of love coming in. And, you know, that's because he's sitting right on the cycle that ends. So we'll continue to see. But this is talking about an overflowing love. And so in romantic love, you know, something that's peaceful and brings you harmony into your life, and it's never ending. It just keeps refilling. It's like something gentle to be around. And, you know, this could be talking about something you love to do or something you love to be. It could be a business partner, just getting along really easy and business going really well. But quite often this does mean romantic love. And we have the moon coming in. So the moon is talking about hidden illusions and secrets coming out in the open. And we have this lobster that's in the emotional water here. And he wants to get between these two pillars and continue on his path. But there's this dog and this wolf sitting here, and they're howling at the moon. And he's like, man, I got to get past them. And I got to be really vulnerable to get to stay on my path here, because I don't want to verge off my path. But I'm kind of scared, and I've got to summon up the courage to be vulnerable enough to sneak by them there. And this is talking about your domestic side, and this is talking about your wild side. So, you know, this sometimes represents that balance between the two, like not being so domestic that you never come out, and not being so wild that you never come home, being a wild child. And this is talking about the full moon, the new moon, and the sun. So this can also talk about eclipse season. And we just had an eclipse season on February 17th and on March 3rd. We had 2 eclipses. And eclipse energy, I've just been describing it as like potpourri on the back burner of the stove. It's gently simmering there so you can feel it, but it's you know, it's not prominent, but when you look back like 6 months later to like, we had, it was mid-April, we had the first one in the beginning of March, or not April, I mean mid-February, and then the beginning of March we had the second one. And so you may, when you look back, you may go, wow, like a lot has happened in 6 months, and you might be feeling like, oh, I'm not making any progress, but then when you look back, you think, look at all the changes I've done, and look how much work I got done, and look at the progress I've made, or vice versa, depending on your situation. And then we have the 10 of Swords, and the 10 of Swords is as uncomfortable as it looks. This is talking about a lot of sabotage being directed your way. The energy is being stabbed in the back and left for unalive. I'm hoping that you won't get back up. There's been a collaborated effort to put you in this position. This can represent like the thoughts of people, you know, behind your back. And the hand here is in the shape of a blessing. And the Hierophant, who is responsible for bringing justice to earth, also has his right hand in the form of a blessing. So sometimes this card is saying that it is you know, a cycle coming to an end, and it's kind of coming into this energy again. So it's talking about the end of a cycle, thank goodness, because this hasn't been a pleasant one. But whoever did this, it could have been over a decade. It could be one person that was doing it quite often. It could be 10 different people, or even 10 groups of people, depending. And this is talking about you know, them not wanting you to be able to get back up. And so this is a collaborated effort to put you in this energy for some reason. There's no pentacles out here really, is there? So quite often it's about money, but this time so far not so. So after this happens, perhaps you like, this could even be like a near-death experience kind of energy, because all of a sudden the sun's shining, and like right after, right? And so the sun is the happiest card in the deck. It represents God, and the sunflowers are all turning to God. They're following God, and this is representing, this young child is representing your energy when you came on into, you know, when you were born. to come into this world and be this happy-go-lucky child. The sunflowers are all happy, they're turning with the sun. You're carrying this heavy banner with ease, even though it's, you know, heavy. It's talking about being in, you know, like being in your element, being on your destined path, totally fearless, no reins. And we have justice coming in. So this is talking about justice for this, for sure. We know there was some sort of battle here, and this can represent like conviction beyond a doubt, and this card can represent the police on the way to arrest someone, or there's indictments or some sort of energy like that, because and the conviction beyond a doubt can represent an energy of you know, an actual conviction, like in court. Do we have any other cards? This sneaky thief energy, possibly, and this energy is definitely illegal. And there's hidden secrets. So there's some cards in justice. So justice is, it's talking about, she's sitting on the throne, and behind her is this veil. This veil is very similar to this banner. It's talking about the thin veil between the spiritual and the physical realm, and how justice starts on the spiritual end and then it comes down into the physical. She's wielding the sword of justice, and just like the swords of knowledge, it's double-edged. So when she, you know, it's talking about redemption from karma as well. So, you know, a lot of people, when they think of karma, they think it's punishment, but it's really cause and effect for your actions or your inactions. And, you know, you can have direct karma where you directly did something and like you knew it was wrong and you didn't care and you went ahead and did it, and it causes karma. Indirect could be, you know, from your parents or from your ancestors, your descendants, associations you have with people in business and in friendships, etc. Those can cause an energy of indirect karma. And then there's karmic spaces that all human beings have a tendency to fall into because we're easily tempted, because life is hard. A lot of times life can be really challenging, and it sometimes just feels easier to take a shortcut, and it seems okay. A lot of other people are doing it, but if you know it's not on the up and up, then eventually there's, you know, it's going to cause and create karma. All right, and then we have the Queen of Swords. So the Queen of Swords is one of 4 queens in the tarot, and she is in the Minor Arcana, and her energy is talking about, you know, the sword, and she is using this, wielding this sword is her, basically her discernment. She has learned how a lot of discernment, and that's because she's been there, she's done that, she bought the t-shirt, she's got the souvenir. She is absolutely not interested in any bullshit. She has her left hand out saying she's willing to receive, but you better come into her straight, because if you come into her you know, and you're full of bullshit, off with your head. She won't even hesitate. And here we have this energy. Her heads are above the cloud. She has total clarity on what she will and will not tolerate and what she wants. And then we have the Hermit. So the Hermit is talking about after a dark night of the soul, after something like this has happened, for sure, needing to heal, and also needing to get back on your feet and move forward. And this energy can talk about and the Hermit isolates himself by climbing up to the top of a mountain, and when he gets to the top, his lantern gets full of the North Star light, and when it's full of that, it will cast a golden shadow on or a golden light on the staff, and he knows, okay, it's time to go down, and now I can take action with what I learned while I was isolated with God. You don't have to actually climb a mountain, but it represents meditation and prayer, and, you know, putting yourself in a situation where you have, you know, some alone time, so you can get in touch with what it is you really want before moving forward. And also this card can represent, sometimes you can be isolated, and it can seem really harsh or whatever. All of a sudden you're rejected by a lot of people and you're not part, you don't feel like you have anyone. And this energy is quite often, rejection is God's protection. So if that's happening to you, sometimes it just means that you need to get out of the way because karma is about to be served. And if you're around the people still that, did whatever they did here that was that needs justice served, you'll be, if you're in the way, you're going to get hit with their karma instead of moving forward in the way that you're supposed to. And we have the 10 of Cups. So the 10 of Cups is talking about ultimately what you wish for, like, what we're told is like, a perfect life, basically. So this is ultimate fulfillment in a perfectly imperfect world. So, you have the partner that you love, and you love where you live, and you love your children, and they love you, and, you have where you love the community you're in, and maybe your career is going awesome. So this is about just having all that love that you've ever wanted in as much as it can be perfectly in a perfectly imperfect world. Nothing's ever totally perfect in the 3D. And then we have reconciliation. So reconciliation can actually talk about getting back with people from the past. It can also talk about wanting closure from the past. This can sometimes be a reunion, like maybe you go home to be with your family for the holidays or something, and maybe run into someone that is someone that you haven't seen for years, maybe from elementary school even, and that far back. And this energy sometimes can represent a past lover coming in and wanting to have another chance, that kind of energy. The thing about the 6 of Cups is this card has a lot of illusions, and that it's saying that your past might have a lot of illusions, and that even in your childhood, it can be talking about in your childhood that maybe your childhood wasn't like how you were told it is or what you thought it is. And there could be a lot of hidden energies, basically, like in the moon here, that are holding you back from having this fulfillment because you have some limiting beliefs about what happened to you when you were a child. And like, for instance, this card here, when you first glance at it, you think, oh, there's 2 children playing, out in the yard, and they're playing with these potted flowers, and there's someone in the background there that's watching over them. But when you look again, you realize, hey, this is a gnome, and this is a little woman. And from the back, she looks like a hag, and from the front, she looks like a young woman. She's wearing this white mitt, which represents she doesn't want to get her hands dirty, doesn't want to have these flowers aren't even his to give away. So the old hag just marches off, and she's like, we don't want your stupid flowers, go away. And the younger version is explaining to him why they don't want to get their hands dirty, and explaining the reasons why they don't want his stolen flowers, basically. And this is talking, are you still a people pleaser? Like, if someone comes back from the past and they've put you in this position, do you really want to invite that energy back into your life? Because people have a tendency to show you who they are the first time around. So be very careful of that energy. Because if you are hanging out with people and karma's about to hit, you're going to get hit with it instead of getting this. And another thing is, like, these flowers, these white flowers. White flowers represent innocence in tarot, but these are not innocent flowers. They're from the nightshade family, and this is representing the night. They're toxic if they're ingested. This is actually datra. And datra is sometimes something that the shamans use to produce visions in their ceremonies for adult people to help them heal their childhood issues and their inner child. And so this whole situation, even the person that was watching over them, when you look closer, you realize, oh, he's walking away down the path here. He wasn't even watching them, but they weren't kids anyway, so you don't have to worry about them. That's the kind of energy. Like it could be like a lot of illusions from the past, and the reasons why people would come back in for the past. We have the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Pentacles is representing another one of the 4 queens from the Minor Arcana. Her element is the element of Pentacles, and I do believe this is the first Pentacle we have here. Interesting. So Pentacles represent lifestyle. And, you know, Pentacles are the health, wealth, and happiness in the 3rd dimensional world. And, you know, you could have all the money in the world, and that, like, they're represented by the coin because money is important. But you could have all the money in the world and still not live the lifestyle that you want. So this is talking more about lifestyle. The Queen of Pentacles is known to be very resourceful, someone that can make something out of nothing. She's highly respected for her ability to do so. And also, she prefers quality over quantity. So this isn't flashy money. This would be like, this is a lot of money. This is like someone who is from generational wealth, you know, a legacy that can be passed down from one family to the, you know, a member to the next. And this energy also is talking about someone who's very stable and understands the value. And then we have the 9 of Cups, and the 9 of Cups is talking about, on some level, this is talking about what you have always wished for in your life. And so this is the ultimate fulfillment with a person, but I feel this is more about what happened here. Because we've got 9 cups here, and we don't know, like, this person's on stage, and so this could represent that you're a public figure or someone in your life is a public figure, and it had something to do with this energy for whatever reason. And so these cups are talking about that you are highly favored to do really well in life and to be very successful, but we don't know, are those cups behind him, are they above him in the now, or are they forward and he's back from them in this? So this is talking about them coming in the future. So that would depend on, you know, which energy you're in. This is talking about there's a lot of potential here, but you have to stay focused, because if you lose your focus, you could end up, you know, like many a race is lost in the last lap. And so it's talking about also someone who's been successful, you know, someone, this could be like someone who's in business and people know them well, you know, and they're known to be really successful. Or it could be someone who's actually, you know, performs in some, it could be a speaker, it could be an artist, it could be a singer, you know, like this could be the entertainment industry, whatever that is. And then we have the king, or sorry, the emperor. And the emperor is talking about an authority figure. This is a real alpha male energy. He is all about performance. And so he is all 4 kings rolled into one person, basically. So he has the qualities of all 4 kings. He's a high-level performer. He would be someone that is very, you know, respected, like an alpha male. You know, beta males don't try him very often because they know he'll kick their butt. and he wears his armor underneath his robe, and he is ready at a moment's notice to, you know, if he sees an opportunity, he's ready for it. If he needs to fight for what and he rarely does have to fight, because people respect him enough that they know that he'll clean their clock, that kind of energy. So this is talking about a high level of performance, like moving into that energy, whether or not you're male or female, you could be in this energy. It's a highly masculine energy. So it's talking about really taking action and being authoritative and being in that very masculine energy. This is talking about the star energy. So this is saying the star energy, this is representing the North Star that's in the hermit's lantern when they go up to the mountain. And this is talking about, this is the Pleiades stars. So this is a very celestial energy. And this, this star is saying you're a superstar. So you might be the person also, like, you know, like this is representing this energy, that you bring your own special quality and mix it into the pool of the universe, and then you pour that out onto Earth. And there's 5 streams here, and each of those streams represent like the 5 points on the pentacle star. So this is talking about bringing your own unique special qualities and mixing that into the universal soup, and then being in an energy of bringing that onto Earth to create your garden here. And then we have, okay, yeah, this is talking about someone who has a closed mind. So this is saying that there's never only like this person feels like there's only 2 ways to do something, this or that. And this is representing quite a closed mind. And there never is only 2 ways to do anything, but they feel that way. And you notice the body language here. She's got her feet turned out, which means she's leaking energy. She's protecting her heart because she feels really vulnerable. And also the right arm is holding the left arm back. And this is your logic, and this represents your intuition. So in body language, so it's representing wanting to only use her logic. And that's the problem, because these are double-edged swords, and you need to use your, to have creative solutions, you need to use your logic and your intuition. So she's blindfolded, and sometimes this energy can be, there's a saying, because you have eyes, you cannot see. And that means basically a lot of people will say, well, when I see it, I'll believe it. But really, the human eye can only detect a small spectrum of the band of light. And we think we're seeing everything. But you may have noticed, like my cat, she's taken the day off from the readings today. She was irritated with all the noise from the construction outside earlier. And now she's resting. And this energy is talking about her, like she'll run around here quite often when I'm having readings, and she'll be chasing after things, and I can't see them, but I know she definitely can. So it's got, the human eye can only detect a certain bandwidth, and we don't know what's in the rest of it that we can't see. So it's talking about, even when you think you're seeing, you're really only seeing a small part of the picture. It's that type of energy. And then we have the 6 of Pentacles. Okay, so this is talking also, it's almost like this energy is saying that this closed mind is basically coming from a position of maybe being hurt because of maybe having to learn the lesson, the discernment of give and take in the universe, which can be kind of a harsh learning experience sometimes. The 6 of Pentacles energy represents like, it's a good time to sow seeds, and then you sow them and the harvest comes. And then when it comes, like you might have a little extra left over. So this person is handing out coin to this person, but he's got the scale of justice above this person. Because if you look closer, this person has like something in his pocket already. And so he has what he needs. He's just too lazy to go get it. And so he is holding the scales of justice over this person's head, and he's not going to give him anything. He's going to, tell him, go get, go to work, you bum. You have what you need in your pocket. Why would I give you my hard-earned money? And then we have, there's another gift coming in from, see, when you learn this discernment about how much to invest in others, who to invest in, what to invest in, and what do you anticipate the return being? Are you anticipating fair exchange of energy? Is it a fair exchange of energy? And because it's important to have that balance in life, and maybe that's why this person's been hurt, is because they haven't learned that lesson yet, and they still have to learn it. The star energy represents a certain innocence, and so sometimes that innocence can be like being really trusting of people, which is a beautiful quality, but not everybody can be trusted. And so that's the kind of energy of learning that discernment, the give and take of life, understanding that if you're, that there should be a fair energy exchange. And so once this is learned, this lesson is learned, then God's willing to give you another gift, another ace of talking about new ways to move forward now with passion that are really going to benefit you a lot. And the universe and God are collaborating to bring this new energy into you, so you have this passion for being you and going out there and doing your thing, like in a real strong way. And it's talking about, because until you learn this, this could be very easily taken from you. And so it's kind of talking about that type of energy. And sometimes rejection is God's protection again. And then look at this. That's when the 10 of Pentacles comes in. So we didn't have any pentacles down here, but we do have it at the top of the pyramid. Once you have learned this lesson, then the universe is willing to give that to you, so that you can move on. It's saying so that you can move forward with this energy. And this could represent that because you're in this energy, now you're attracting like an emperor energy, whereas before you were attracting this energy. So this would be a breath of fresh air for sure. Someone that you know that actually pulls their weight. And so this is talking about the energy of like, yeah, total fulfillment. So you have it here in love, and now you also have it in lifestyle. So it's raining money, but more importantly, you're living with the person that you want to be with, in the place you want to be, loving your children, and your pets, and having time to enjoy it, like actually being able to enjoy it, stop and chat with the neighbors. And sometimes this energy can also represent a windfall coming in out of nowhere. Like it could be like a settlement if you do have some sort of legalities coming in about pentacles, or even justice of some sort. If something's happened to you and you want justice, it's saying that it's likely to come in and cause balance in your life. So I just want to check in on this magician energy here. From the bottom going up to the top, the magician is pointing as above, so below. So he's pointing to the King of Wands, and he's pointing, hey, King of Wands, to be able to get what you want here. And I feel like it's this cup of new love. You're going to have to get in this energy of have an energetic upgrade, as above, so below. So pointing this way, you need to go in and isolate yourself, and so you can really get into what it is you really want in your heart. And then you'll have this this promised fulfillment. This love that you're wanting is going to come in with ease. You have to keep an open mind. Your new partner, when God chooses a partner for us, quite often they're very different from who we would normally be with. And this is talking about, first you have to learn the give and take, discernment in the world before you're going to be given this windfall, so that you don't lose it. And then coming from down here, it's like the Knight of Cups, new romance coming in. There's hidden illusions maybe about this energy, that this could talk about a lover was involved in this energy and left you in this position. And this could be a public figure on some level. And even maybe there's some authority figures that were involved in this energy. And this passion for discovery sometimes can represent an investigation on the physical realm, for the police are investigating, or a private eye or whatever, and the truth comes out, and then your life improves into this better energy. So if you're looking for, and like this card is saying you're victorious, and you're victorious because you're able to rein in your emotions and quiet your mind and discipline it so that you can really feel what your heart wants. Yeah, so this is a pretty good reading, I'd say. It's got a lot of good advice in it. It's talking about moving through life and how to move into a stronger, being a stronger version of yourself and going after your authentic desires, and then look at, you know, you end up with them. That's pretty cool. So yeah, and this is all basically saying that if you stay in the game and you stay on your destined path, that you are more likely to receive that than if you're sneaking around like this. And so I'm going to also clarify this for those of you who want clarification. If you're leaving the reading now, thank you for your time and energy. Please give it a like and comment if you have received benefit from this, and consider subscribing. You're more than welcome. And I'm going to clarify with my oracle now for those of you that want clarification. So I started this in 2017 or 2007, and in 2020, I'm an artist. I completed the 64 paintings. This is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. This energy is talking about it has a lot of dragons in it, and they were big paintings, 3 feet by 4 feet. So that's why it took me till 2020 to complete all the paintings. I do have a website. My website is talesfromthevector.com. And on the gallery are the paintings in how they're numbered there. And so I will list these in the description box below, so you'll know which paintings to look for if you're interested in taking a look. So we have the Tower. The Tower is talking like about a reality check that hits. This does say divorce. Sometimes that can be that energy, but this is actually saying divorce from, the worst divorce would be the divorce from source. So long as you have, are connected to God's energy and on your destined path, things have a way of working out. We have talking about this energy, this new cup of love coming in. It's talking about will elevate you to an Empress energy. So I do feel it is the Emperor. And because you've gone through all this, that you are going to be elevated to that energy because you've learned so much from it. And that's what the Empress represents. She has all the qualities of all 4 queens and the king, and it's the same with the Emperor, with the kings. Because, and look at the 2 of them are together here. I just noticed that. And so this is, once you have conviction beyond a doubt, the direction you're going in, you pursue it. And yeah, so this is talking about the 2 of you getting together. We have the Queen of Pentacles and we have the Queen of Swords. So these figures could be other figures involved in this energy, but I feel like they're more talking about maybe you had the love and you had the passion, but you didn't have the discernment as of yet, and that's what you really needed. Otherwise, you could end up losing everything. And also, it's talking about, not having the pentacles until you have the discernment. I feel very much that's what this is about. So this is, God's protection for you, because you may have lost something here as it is, and definitely it has been challenging. For you to have to go also feel like having had a dark night of the soul. But this energy is talking about hanging in there and learning from it and becoming a better version of yourself, which is the whole point. We have the shooting star energy, so it's talking about, wishing upon a star. Sometimes if people wish upon a star, you have to recognize that if you're wishing upon a star, and that's kind of this energy here as well. It's like you want this and you wish for this, but you have to, if you are wishing for something, it means you don't have it yet. So you're going to have to pour some energy into it and have a good attitude to be able to, some people wish upon a star and then they just sit there and wait for it to fall in their lap, and they could wait a long time. This is talking about indifference. Yeah, sometimes people can be indifferent, and I feel like this is kind of the energy, this is talking about this energy here. People that you thought, you really thought that these people cared about you and you care about them, and it wasn't an even exchange of energy. Thus, you had to learn this before you end up with this much abundance, because it would just be taken from you. and put you even, there'd be even more people wanting, the more the money, the more we tend to have people who engage in this kind of activity. And so we have perception. This could be that the grass is greener on the other side, and then you find out it's fake. I feel like this is talking about this sneaking around energy here. This possibly was a lover of yours. The rebel with a cause is now someone who's settling down and is kind of more ready to be settled. We do have the all-star energy. That's using your third eye to have insight instead of just your eyes. And we have the dissension. So dissension is when there's a scrambling of information purposely so that it causes disagreements between people and making people look bad, that kind of energy. And this is saying with friends like these, who needs enemies? So this energy could have been like, there could have been, like I said, a lot of people involved, and maybe they knew like this windfall was coming in. Maybe you weren't even aware of it or what it was. This could be something from your past, from your childhood. Maybe this is an inheritance or a trust or something like that. And they're aware of it, but you're not. We have the Hermit coming in on this energy here. So yes, this is where you're happy and you're pretty like on your path, but then bang, these people, all the shift that has happened hits the fan. And now you're in this energy where you need to go climb the mountain. You've had a dark night of the soul. It's all you could do to get back up. You're actually lucky you survived. This is not people sort of kind of not liking you. This is people determined to take what they want from you, whichever means they need to do it. And this energy is then after that, you're on this foolhardy journey. So you can anticipate the result. Now that's coming in when you get into this energy, and this, this cycle is now over, and we are entering this new cycle. And because you stayed on your path, not saying that, and got back on it, it's coming in just like it was promised. Where is the Chariot energy? Here, there we go. So it's talking about, down here it says the Chariot is going to come, like get on the Chariot and you'll be able to get there. And so this is, sometimes shift takes time. And then we have the Ego. So this is another karmic space that we can fall into easily. As I was explaining, when justice comes in, there can be sometimes this karmic energy that follows. And, having... you have to have an ego to be able to function in a third dimensional plane. Like you have to have a desire for producing on the third dimension. But this is talking more like, the ego sometimes will convince us that who cares about the spiritual end of things, Or sometimes the ego will be really spiritual and say, who cares about money and if you can pay your bills? And so you need to have a good balance there. Be careful about listening to your ego and getting like too far one way or the other. And then temperance, having the patience to stay on your destined path, and knowing that if you do stay on that path, there's reasons why what is happening. And if it's elevating you to this level here, you can't do this without going through the life experience. So basically, sometimes you have to just suck it up, basically, and go through some harder times so that you learn from them, and then can be able to be a better version of yourself and learn from that energy. And then we have, and it's talking about, because the devil energy, the temptation coming in, a lot of people end up doing that instead. And they think it's going to be easier, but in the end it's saying like, look at, it's always going to be discovered. The truth always does come out eventually. And if you're on your destined path, then you're like in your passion, and it doesn't seem like hard work. Whereas if you're tempted just to cut corners in that, it means you're probably not really enjoying what you're doing that much. It can talk about falling into temptations of all sorts. So when the devil energy comes in, I always cover it with the next card up, because I want to see you're not going to get the truth out of this information, or this energy. It's very manipulative. So I always check to see what's the next card up, and is this covered? What's it about? Does God cover it? What's going on with this energy? And I feel like what this is talking about is, yeah, there's been deception, and this is talking about deception in maybe your previous relationships, in particular love relationships, and maybe that was something that you needed to heal from your childhood, so that you would quit being like a people pleaser and being more like authentic about who you are, and just being able to say to someone, no, I don't want your flowers. I don't want them around my children or my pets. They can make them sick. And you don't have to explain it to him. You just walk away, like you learn, like the old hag. There's sometimes where it's better just to walk away and not needing to explain yourself. And so this also is talking about being able to have really good judgment then, of which, the discernment of which people are going to benefit you and which ones won't. So I do feel like, yeah, that's the advice here, is learn discernment and recognize that the best investment you can make is investing in yourself to learn more, to be the best version you can be. Yeah, I enjoyed this reading. It's full of good information, and I like that it's talking about all sorts of things happening in life and how to kind of navigate through that. I do hope you also enjoyed it. Give it a like and comment if you have. I would really appreciate it. And also consider subscribing. I would be honored if you did so. I'll be back with another reading for you again tomorrow. Bye for now.